Hi.
Hello.
I wasn't listening, so I hope I didn't cut it off. Hello.
Good morning.
It's morning.
Good morrow.
It's Sunday. What's going on?
I mean, not too much.
Yeah.
You made me this nice coffee, which I've been sipping
Well,
on.
Yes, I made it.
By hand.
Actually,
Thank you.
it was already ground, so I didn't do anything. I just put it in the coffee
Pop
maker.
it in there.
Here you go.
Press a button.
Have some
water in there.
coffee.
Hello. We went out to a nice date night last night.
Mm-hmm.
Had some pizza. Very, very tasty. Very tasty pizza. Though now I learn next time you would like to try another type of pizza.
Yeah,
We've tried 3.
Yeah. Pepperoni is so basic. I don't know. I
Too
feel like
basic. But it's interesting that you say that, because I was like, oh, you know what I want to try? The margarita pizza, which is arguably even more basic.
No, margarita is more interesting.
the
There's
basil?
more than one topping.
Well, it's just basil.
Well,
For there. I
Okay,
remember it
okay.
being just 3, yeah.
I don't
Because
know.
why pizza? Why
I
pizza?
don't know.
Exactly. We played a game yesterday called Why Pizza. It set us all up to want pizza. Something about that.
Yeah.
Cheese.
Pizza. Well, it was, okay, to be fair, before we played, we already made the reservation.
Yes,
It was
that
like,
is
it's
absolutely
because
true.
this place isn't open on Sundays, I think. Or
But
something
you
like that.
suggested it, and you had already picked the game,
I
so
did,
it may
so it
have
could
been
have
in
been-
the old brain there.
It could have been.
Why
in
pizza?
there.
Because pizza good.
Because I knew that we were gonna why pizza.
Yeah, why?
Later. What else?
I'd like to talk for a minute about the ice cream that comes
my
from
God.
the pizza place.
Yes, go ahead.
It's just super good. So we share one.
Mm-hmm.
Comes in a nice little glass bowl type thing, and we get chocolate sauce, cherries,
Mm-hmm.
and pistachios. And I was all about the pistachio action
Mm-hmm.
because of the saltiness. It just made it super good. I love it.
Yeah.
I always want it. I eat the whole thing. We always finish our meal there completely. Mhm.
It's good. It's a good spot.
We were outside, which was
we
really
were outside.
nice.
That was nice.
It was very, very nice, because
Mhm.
it was quite loud in there when we were waiting.
Yeah, I was a little concerned because it's been smoky, and I didn't. I was like, oh, is it going to be okay? But actually, this morning I took Winnie for a walk, and it was moderate, so it's like not too bad anymore.
Mm.
So
It has been pretty bad the past couple of days.
yeah.
Just across the valley.
Yep.
What else is going on?
Props Play is back on
Yeah.
Twitch. We started our new season with Pokemon Unite. I showed Jeff some
Prof.
of the
Dota.
clips. Prof. Dota. Well,
Good laugh.
yeah. It's just yeah, no, it was a fun time. Though I don't know. I feel weird because like Pokemon Unite is such an interesting game. Like it's one of those games where, like, I said this to Jeff, if I had continued playing Pokemon Unite from launch, I think I would feel differently. I would have like better characters, items. I also don't pay any money for this game, so it can be really rough because the losing streak was hot, and then
I'm not sure they have an amazing matchmaking algorithm.
Yeah.
Like there aren't that many. You did have one very close game, but for the most part, it was like you either win pretty easily or you lose very badly.
And I guess that's that. Yeah. So we were playing with some coordination, and then we had like a random player, and then I don't know who we were up against. So, yeah, some of those battles were really rough. Like one of them was we were just destroyed. It was like 800 something to 100 something, where it was just like, whoops, wow. So yeah, we're back, and next week is October. So we're on Fridays now at 1 p.m. on twitch.tv/profsplay, and next month is happening on next week, so October 1st. And it's also 3 of the 4 profs have a birthday in October, so we've been extra. So it's me, Sweaterwolf, and Prof A. who have
Birthday
birthdays,
month.
and Jay does not. So we're just all like, what should we plan for our birthday? It's just fun. So, yeah, I'm excited.
Cool.
I don't know what else.
Yeah,
what else is going on? It's
not too
fall.
much.
It's officially fall. So
It is. We are moving to fall.
Yep. Gonna be Christmas soon.
Ooh, Juan's ready?
Juan's ready.
Okay, turn to page 65, The Portkey. Today's lesson is called From Here to There. The chapter begins with Harry, Ron, and the twins being awoken by Mrs. Weasley early in the morning. They need to prepare to leave for their Quidditch World Cup. Hermione and Ginny are with them, but Percy, Charlie, and Bill get to sleep in because they will just apparate later. On their walk to their destination, Mr. Weasley tells Harry about the process of getting 100,000 wizards to the Quidditch World Cup without breaking the statute of secrecy. They are to take a Portkey, which is a mundane object that teleports people on a predetermined schedule. They spread out to search for it, but a new voice belonging to Mr. Amos Diggory calls out that they found it. Harry meets Mr. Diggory and sees his son and their schoolmate, Cedric.
Mm-hmm. This chapter. Sorry, I was like during the middle of your reading.
No.
Yeah, this chapter is cute. It's pretty short. So one of the first things I wrote is like how excited Arthur was to be like, Harry, do I look like a muggle? Yeah. It's just so cute. Oh my goodness. I'm just
big jeans.
The way that they were described previously is like, or when they were coming over, Harry was like thinking about the Weasleys and how they dress in long robes and all this sort of stuff. And he was thinking about like, oh man, like they're coming to they're going to be walking around and whatever.
Yep.
So, and we kind of talked about, I mean, we've occasionally talked about blending in with Muggle life. Like, do they know pop culture stuff? Do they, I don't know, do they have like their stash of Muggle clothes? Have they heard of the Spice Girls? How do they?
Yes.
Have you heard of the Spice Girls?
This is an important
Who is
question.
Your favorite Spice Girl? Arthur Weasley. But yeah, it was super cute. But yeah, there was a lot about apparating in here because there is this discussion of like, okay, some of them get that. I mean, they got to sleep in, so they didn't have to make a long trek to go find this Portkey. Oh, that's the one thing I forgot to do. I was gonna watch the beginning because I'm pretty sure the movie starts. Well, no. The movie starts with Harry or like with the Weasleys like walking up the hill, and then it's like, what's
Cedric
a Portkey? Cedric's in the tree, and he's just like, what's up? I'm
what's a Portkey?
Edward Cullen, isn't that the name of the vampire from
I
Twilight?
Don't
anyway,
know.
Sorry. Every time he jumps from the tree, I keep thinking that it's like Edward because it's just so weird. It's like it's such an interesting choice for Cedric to be just hopping out of the tree. Anyway,
that's where he found the Portkey and had to knock it down. I don't know.
Yeah, so that line, that scene always stands out to me because it's like, what's a Portkey? And the Portkey is very important to this story, or like the concept of a Portkey.
This is actually what I wanted to talk about.
Yeah.
Which is from, as I often do, bringing the perspective of J.K. Rowling. I'm wondering if, or thinking about it from her hypothetical perspective, do you think she made up Portkeys in this book? I don't remember them coming up before.
Okay, I have an entry on Portkeys. I mean, there, regardless of whether she like knew of them before, she definitely like fleshed out some sort of like established thing in the wizarding world.
Sure.
So one of the things before Portkey that I looked at was apparition,
right.
And that was actually mentioned in also Dobby, but like we saw it in, oh my gosh, where is it? The first mention of it is in Chamber of Secrets chapter 5. Well, I guess we didn't get the description. Like, we knew that Dobby could just like hop. I don't think it was described as that. Yeah,
Is it Dobby?
No. It's the Ford Anglia. So Harry and Ron stole the car to fly to Hogwarts, and Harry's concerned about how the Weasleys will get back, and Ron is like, don't worry, they can apparate back home. So that's the first mention of it. So at least apparating is like discussed. I don't know about Portkeys.
Because my thought was, I was wondering if she needed to solve this problem, which is, how does Harry get to the graveyard? Right? I wonder if she has this sort of climactic scene developed in her mind, like, we need this confrontation. She starts to develop how Voldemort will regain his body. They want Harry, they'll get Harry. It's, how does he get there?
Yeah.
Oh, maybe he touches something and it sends them there, right? It's teleportation.
Yeah, because it's, I don't think it's meant. So I'm going to have to look at a different wiki to see, because all I have on the Portkey is from the official Wizarding World website, which is mostly, it's not going to give you like little trivia pieces like that. It's just going to give you like, this is what it is, and this is some story that J.K. Rowling, you know.
Right.
So it's one of the things is that, okay, so actually the other thing that I'm thinking about is, so in contrast of, so for magical transportation, you can fly by broom, you can, what else can you do? You can apparate, you can, on here it says thestrals, flying cars, and dragons.
Quick dragon ride.
I mean, flying cars I think is just an N of 1. It's Arthur Weasley. But unless that would
flying
be
motorcycle.
It would be funny if he had like a side business, a side hustle where he was just like
selling cars.
He's selling flying cars.
According to Cindy and the Harry Potter wiki, the first appearance of the Portkey was this book.
Awesome. Thank you.
So potential corroboration of this idea that it was developed in response to a need to the plot.
Well, a need perhaps to the plot, but also to the sort of like, there would need to be connecting back to the statute of secrecy. And especially with this bigger thing of like, you have a Quidditch World Cup, like whichever came first, I don't know. I'm not really that interested in, but like, how would a bunch of witches and wizards get there? And Arthur kind of explains that he has this somewhat expository type of thing to explain to Harry of how do they manage something like that. So we know that the Ministry, especially with the statute of secrecy, is trying to keep, you're not trying to make yourself known. So they have this coordination. We talked about the people that work in this committee or office or whatever, and like they plan it. And then we learned that people who have like worse seats like get there 2 weeks before and stuff like that. So there's these cycles. But this on here is talking about like, if you want to travel by daylight, like flying by broom, flying car, dragon, thestral is not, it's not what you should do. So there needs to be another way. And especially because apparating, you need to be of age. Well, it's not that you physically can't apparate. It's that there's like laws, just like, you know, driving, you need a license sort of thing. So that it's more regulated. And then the other option that we've seen is flue powder, but that requires a fireplace, and it's not like, you know, so there's, it needs to be connected to the network. So there needs to be another form of transportation that allows.
Well, that's how the Ministry works, right? Aren't there just tons of fireplaces?
Oh, yeah, I guess the toilets.
Because it feels like employees basically connect their home to the Ministry if they work there, and that's how they get to work for the most part.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, there's also the toilet.
But that's the toilet,
But so there are these different, so thinking about the concept of you need to keep the witches and wizards in secret, but they need to move around. So how can you do that in the daytime? Like, what would they be able to do?
Well, I want to say that if this is true, that she developed the Portkey in response to this, in part, in response to this need to get Harry to the graveyard later. It's really interesting. She does such a good job of kind of fleshing it out, right? Because it is, if you look book to book, there are basically a series of things that don't really get discussed in the book prior but are easily integrated into like the entirety of the wizarding world. So Cindy goes on here to say like that there's references to Portkeys back into the 1300s.
Yeah, I have a story about a Portkey from the
fantastic.
wizarding world. So it's about secrecy, mass movement. You're planning it, so choosing a Portkey. So this is what they do. They go out into this moor, like I don't know how far away it is from their house, but like somewhat near their house that they could walk. And then they find this Portkey. It's a piece of garbage that they have to find. Accidents have occurred, however. 2 Muggle dog walkers found themselves accidentally transported to a Celestina Warbeck concert in 2003.
Oh my gosh, what a trip.
Because their dogs had run off with an old trainer on Clapham Common, leaving an anguished crowd of witches and wizards to look frantically for their Portkey on a stretch of empty grass, hopefully seizing old crisp packets and cigarette ends. That's what they were looking for. One of the Muggle dogwalkers was even invited on stage by Celestina to perform a duet of A Cauldron Full of Hot, Strong Love. Well, the memory charm placed upon him by a harried ministry official seemed to take at the time. He has since written a popular Muggle song that bears an uncanny resemblance to Celestina's worldwide hit, Miss Warbeck is not amused. So, I mean, yeah, fleshing out, like, now that you have this magical item, like, what are some historical things? So, dating back to the 1300s, but then a very, 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 very specific story about an accident.
They definitely know the Spice Girls if they know this guy wrote this song. But yeah.
Well, that also leads to this whole department of, well, it's the Department of Magical Accidents and whatever it's called, where you have the squad.
Yep.
The accidental magic reversal squad, all these things that there's so many things. I said this in one of the last episodes we recorded. Like, there are so many potential things that can go wrong. I cannot believe that they still exist as a society, or they existed this long as a society underground, like hidden. There's so many things.
Yeah, how do more students not die?
Oh gosh, rip. Speaking of, so Cedric.
Rip Cedric. Yes.
Cedric. Actually, so yeah, we met Cedric before. I love the little details of kind of just like the way of reminding you, because it comes through in Fred and George. They're just kind of like, hey. Where they're still kind of holding a grudge that
he caught the snitch when Harry got attacked by a Dementor.
Yeah. Okay, so I wrote that down because, oh my God, Amos, like, calm down.
Yeah, no,
like,
super aggressive.
So aggressive.
Harry's a 14-year-old kid, man. Come on. Actually, it's super realistic.
It is so realistic, but it's like so aggressive.
Their kids' sports and really, like, really seriously.
Okay, like, one falls off his broom, one stays on. You don't need to be a genius to tell which one's the better flyer. Ha ha ha. Right, Harry? I'm just like, come on, dude.
That's right.
He's right. You can tell your grandchildren that you beat the famous Harry Potter. It's just so weird. Like, it reminds me again, there's a note in there about Harry being uncomfortable because people are like, Harry Potter? But it's just so weird. Harry? It's just, it must be so cringy to be like, just to be famous and then to have people come up to you and just be like, Harry Potter?
My son's better than you at flying.
Oh my God. Yeah.
You're a real piece of garbage.
Yeah,
it is an interesting scene. It plays out a little bit differently in the movie. They make Mr. Diggory much more excited to see Harry and actually quite jovial and even fatherly, right?
Yeah
where he's like, oh, real pleasure, real pleasure.
I really like Goblet of Fire as a movie. I know that there's some parts that I'm just like, oh my God. Like, Ron and Hermione can chill out a bit, but it's played very well because that's what they're dealing with. But I just like the way, I love the movie, the way visually they connect back to, and these like little choices of like, okay, you're gonna make Cedric's dad more, not aggressive, but like more relatable. Although it probably could have worked either way. I don't know.
Well, I also like Goblet of Fire, and I think something that's true for me generally with the books is that I like them more as they go on. So like I like basically them in order up until I would flip 6 and 7. I like book 6 the most, but I think like book 4, and it makes sense to me because I'm such a sucker for big worlds, getting to see bigger and bigger worlds, and so the books get longer. So I'm like, I like them when they're longer because I'm like, I like more.
Yes.
So but I like in the next chapter we meet Ludo Bagman, and the Bagman Crouch foiling of each other is gonna be great. They're just so enjoyable that they come as a pair. It's hilarious. But I think there's a lot going on in the movie as well. They did a really good job at taking an extremely long book and making a movie.
Yeah.
With one fatal mistake. Did you put your name in the goblet?
But they created new content.
Yeah, fatal because it created memes.
Yes. Yeah. The best meme.
Yeah, the best meme.
That we love to quote all the time.
100%. Yeah. That'll be fun when we get to that. Because Dumbledore says it calmly.
Yeah, I want to see impressions of like how would people like want that expressed calmly? Because I like, how would you say it? When I joke about it, I'm like, Harry, did you put your name? Yeah, like that.
What a fire.
Yeah. And it's funny because
Harry, have a sweet.
So in that scene, oh gosh, we can talk about it.
Yeah, it's coming. It's coming.
When that scene happens, like there's just like everyone's like all going off. So.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
I wonder how it would have felt.
Of course, he is lying.
Yeah. What else? I have a lot of apparition, just like random facts.
Yeah, we learned about splinching.
Oh yeah, splinching. Yeah. Ugh. That's there's a lot with apparating that happens throughout the series.
We're told that the people who split themselves didn't get injured. I wonder if it's because it was able to be reversed, because we will find out that in the future somebody does splinch and it hurts very badly. Very badly. So it may be, it'll be interesting.
Well, I think that it was more that it was just like they don't. Well, actually, no, I don't know. So some of my facts about apparating is that there's something about, because there's kind of like a safe distance, you know. So you have like the test, you have the licensing, which is granted to witches and wizards of age, which is 17, but you can still try, I guess, and like whatever. But like it becomes more difficult as the distance increases. I think that just like makes sense physically, even though this is magic, so it doesn't have to make sense, but okay. And only highly trained wizards would try intercontinental apparition.
Yes, so this is very useful because I had this thought when we rewatched The Crimes of Grindelwald. No, the one before that. The movie
Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. Yeah.
And Newt takes a boat.
He does take a boat
across the ocean. Yeah. And I was like, why didn't he just apparate? This helps.
Yeah, I think so. That. Yeah, they need to be super like highly trained, probably powerful, because eventually, like Harry does get some training. We'll see that later. There's in
apparating.
Yeah, there's like 3 Ds. I wrote it down somewhere that you need to.
Oh yeah, I remember that in the
destination, determination, and deliberation are the 3 Ds. And so there. Okay, this took me down another rabbit hole because on this wiki that I was browsing through, there was a note that said that it's possible that there might even be laws against international apparition. And the reference was from the Wombat, which is an examination, Wizard's Ordinary Magic and Basic Aptitude Test. And so this test was like posted on J.K. Rowling's original website a long time ago. And it was mostly like Harry Potter trivia, but then it was framed as a test of basic things in the wizarding world. And so I found a link to it, and I think that we should take it one day where we take the Wombat and see 100%. Like, because there's a question on there about whether true or false, international apparition is outlawed or something like that. And I don't know the answer. It didn't tell me the answer. It just has like the quiz. So I'm like, oh, okay.
Like a lot of laws, if so, only not always, because it seems like there were exceptions here with being able to apparate to the Quidditch World Cup. Like there could be a suspension of the rules. Thinking of magical transportation, we also see the flying carriage and the ship. I can't remember in this book, the ship for the schools. I'm wondering is that what happens in the book? I guess we'll find out. I can't remember.
Yeah. Well, so like going back though, it's not that it's impossible. Just like laws don't like make things physically impossible.
No, right. No.
It's just that to discourage, you make a law.
Yeah.
To disincentivize it or whatever.
Yeah.
To punish people to not do that anymore.
Yeah.
Because I imagine that, so we have splinching, but I imagine like perhaps irreversible splinching might occur or something like that. I don't know. No idea. No idea. Yeah. Also, it's impolite to apparate just into someone's house. It's the equivalent of just, kicking in their door.
I would think so. Yeah, I would think so. Yeah.
Underage apparition is tracked by the ministry via the trace, which I still have questions about the trace. Do you think Hermione outlawed the trace? Like, got rid of it?
Oh, no.
Do you think the trace is being used by the Unforgivable to recruit members like Constance Pickering? Sorry, I'm on a Wizards Unite tangent now. Okay. I think the trace is a
disaster.
The trace is a disaster. I get the like where it's coming from. Like if it's if it's not from a good place, like I get the marketing of it of like, oh, we need to keep children safe, blah blah blah, whatever. I'm not saying I agree with like tracking.
No, the marketing is good.
But I get like how you can rally people to be like, yeah, this seems fine and necessary.
Now I'm looking forward to like book 6 or whenever we learn about the trace and I'm like how it actually works.
Yeah.
Ridiculousness.
Yeah. Also another thing. According to Lupin, this is not until way later, so we haven't actually read this part yet. It's impossible to track anyone who apparates unless you grab hold of them as they disappear. Which I imagine is probably really hard because they're,
It happens in 7. Yeah.
I think that's probably why, because it is citing Deathly Hallows as like that reference. And yeah, so that's a lot of stuff with apparition.
It's a lot of stuff. It's a lot of stuff.
Okay, but no one can apparate or disapparate inside of Hogwarts because of magical protections. So what I was thinking is like, well, why don't you just have magical? Well, it doesn't seem because going back to the apparating into someone's house, like most witches and wizards don't have security systems or like magical protections in place to prevent people from doing so. It's just kind of like a social norm of like, you just don't do this.
Right.
But like, I don't know. If you can make magical protections, why don't you just protect more places?
It's expensive. I don't know. Maybe it uses material or something.
The ministry probably has protections, right?
Yeah, I mean,
or at least like the Department of Mysteries would probably
think so,
have. Like, guard the veil. Don't let someone apparate in there.
Locks and doors and stuff is pretty scary. Although kids get down there, but
kids get down there.
A handful of kids just pop into the old brain room here. Yeah, it's an interesting one. I was thinking about. I think it's the beginning of book 6 when Dumbledore and Harry apparate together and they go to a house and Dumbledore specifically apparates to like the sidewalk outside the house and then they walk up to the house. So he follows that custom.
Yes.
Very interesting. Very interesting. And then of course, I think we know that Dobby house elves can apparate in
house
Hogwarts,
elves can apparate anywhere, which is actually interesting.
In fact, we learned that apparition is going to be broken at Malfoy Manor in book 7. However, it is hijacked.
Well, it is. There are magical protections.
Right, that's what I'm saying. It can be done, but there must be some. Maybe it has to be maintained like daily. They have to cast the spells. Somehow I imagine like Flitwick and McGonagall wake up and then they're like,
Or
no apparating here.
Or it's like, I don't know. I'm trying to think of like what would it, maybe it's just like, it's like socially people don't think that it's necessary.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Culturally, it's like, oh, why would I do this unless I'm trying to hide something?
Yeah.
No idea.
Yeah. It's good stuff.
Yeah.
Short chapter.
Oh, I'm sad that Molly took all of the
Tung Toffees.
The toffees, and I was like, oh, I am like,
we spent
obviously
6 months on those.
I'm obviously on Fred and George's side.
Yes.
I'm like, no.
I know you are. So am I.
Molly, what are you doing?
You're not listening.
Yeah, I mean,
you gotta listen.
And then she has to like dagger and be like, oh, well, if you didn't spend that time working on that, you could have done better on your test, blah, blah, blah. Oh my God.
Got him.
No. Yeah. Well, okay, so back to the house elf thing about perhaps the spell being specific to certain beings. I was wondering then if like, because different beings probably have access to different magic. So what if we learned apparition from house elves?
Yeah, or
something like that. I don't know.
It's even possible that the house elf isn't apparating, that it's a different type of magic.
That could also be possible.
Yeah.
Also, do they have a name before house elves? Now that I'm thinking about it, like
probably just elves,
right? Yeah, because I'm like, I just called it a house elf, and I was like, wait, but what if you don't have like a master? Or
either elves or houses, and I don't think houses.
Yeah.
No, yeah, but it's what? Ooh.
I have one last thing about
oh my goodness.
It's not exciting. It's just I forgot to finish my Portkey story.
All right.
J.K. Rowling said that the name Portkey comes from the French porter, meaning to carry, and the word key in the sense of secret or trick. To carry a secret or trick.
Yeah, I also love the idea that these Portkeys are supposed to be like a litter.
Yeah.
Like somehow I'm imagining like a litter pickup campaign, and they just get teleported all over the place.
They're like, oh hey, yeah, you have like a one person, and they're like, oh, let's just go pick up Muggle trash, and then we'll come and we'll put it in our Portkey factory. Not a real thing, but you know what I mean. Like we'll make them Portkeys, and we'll just pick up people's trash. She also said, I don't like to boast, but I own a real Portkey. The key to the U.S. city of LaPorte, which was given to me by Emerson Spatz, the founder of the fan site MuggleNet.com. So there you go. There's your fun fact for today. J.K. Rowling owns a key to the city of LaPorte. So random.
Magnificent.
On that note.
That's a good place to stop.
Yeah.
Until next time.
Wands ready.